not consider this ordinance anymore. I do think that water monitoring, and I think watching what people do with their water across the Lassen County into Washoe County, I think it's important, because I don't think this is going to be the only one. I think there's going to be a lot more. And I know that the basin that they have to draw their water out is huge, and it also goes into Nevada. It's a huge basin. So I'm not too worried about, making it dry up. But I do think that as a county, we should be diligent about how we allow water to be exported. And we should watch out how it's being used. I checked on how much does an acre foot of water would be cost if I did it on my property to Reno from Willow Creek. I think I looked at it, it was $2,000 an acre. Okay? So we have to watch to make sure that the 129 acres of water is where it's going to go. And that's my only concern. And I wish them well, better than whatever I got.
Thank you. Yes. I'd like to comment, and I think it's a legitimate concern that Mrs. McCain brings forth. I think if Lonnie Estelle was proposing to take this water and pipe it to Reno and use it in those kind of fashions, then I think absolutely it's a comparable to what Franklin James and what was the genesis of this ordinance in the first place. But I think for a property owner to use it on their property that's adjacent to their property, irrespective of where the state line is, and to use it for a legitimate agricultural operation that they're operating, I think they should be given that opportunity, and that's what the exception is. So I think in terms of comparisons, if indeed a project was to come forth that had significant portions of water, whether it's 500 acre feet or 5,000 or 500,000 acre feet, then I think that that's something that this board is capable of dealing with the ordinance that we have in place. And so hopefully the comparison isn't made between this project and what Franklin James proposed back in the early 1990s and tried to do, because I don't think that the two are the same.
Okay. Thank you, Jim. All right. If there's no further comment, we're going to close the public hearing at 12:14 and bring it back to the board. Just for clarification, so County Council, can you just read what's going to add into that condition number 4?
I'm going to rely on Mr. Anderson for that specific language. Because I wasn't writing it, I was being an active listener.
Condition number 4 would also include an additional sentence at the end that says, during the annual monitoring, the flow meter information collected will be collected and will be forwarded to the board for their review.
Biannual monitoring?
Right, biannual.
Okay, perfect.
Does that answer your question, sir?
Yep.
Change the date. And change the date.
I noted that earlier, October 15th instead of September.
Okay.
Or actually, is it 30th or 15th?
15.
Thanks, and I want to thank the board and the public for their patience. I think it was an important discussion. I think at the end of the day, the applicant needs to be protected. The public needs to feel like the county is helping facilitate, the agriculture by doing so because of the sensitivity, because part of the ranch is outside of the county. It wasn't need to put monitoring, but the monitoring we've agreed to, the applicants agreed to, that actually there's a mechanism in place that, to accurately do that. It's not just smoke and mirrors. I'm comfortable with it now. I'm sorry it took 2 hours to get there, but
Mr. Chairman, when it comes to the resolution, which we talked about the changes in the exhibit A, the resolution that's before us, the proposed resolution, we also had discussed the removal of number 9, which dealt with the 169 days and
That finding.
And that particular finding.
Yes.
So if we are ready to proceed with this, I want to make sure that correction is also made.
right.
So, delete 9.
Delete number 9 and renumber 10 is the new 9. I'll make it in the form of a motion if that gets it going.
Okay, sorry.
That change, the change in the primary resolution on the findings, and the two changes in the exhibit A that is referenced by the resolution.
Okay, so it's been moved and seconded. If there's no further discussion, we'll vote.
Probably good idea.
Okay, Madam Clerk, would you?
Supervisor Chapman.
Aye.
Supervisor Alba.
Aye.
Supervisor Kyle.
All right.
Supervisor Hammond.
Aye.
Supervisor Wilson.
Okay. Thank you, Maureen, and thanks to everybody again. Okay. We got a 11:15 kind of certain. I think we should probably judge.
Promise to be quick.
Okay.
That's what you said on the last one.
I was. This is a public hearing, planning and building services code enforcement and
Yes, Chairman and Supervisors, this is Galen Elliott, Assistant Director of Planning and Building Services. The board may recall that on October 28th of this year, we were in front of the board for consideration of a lien, and the board approved the lien, recordation of a lien for $10,284 for the subject property, which is located at 715 Church Street, APN 129-590-23. So this was a property that the board ordered the abatement of. Staff and the contractors have abated the property, removed the public nuisances from the property, and it turned out to be a pretty big job. Looks really good now, though. We were directed to complete the abatement because the contractor we had at that point didn't do that. And then we did that. The abatement was completed. It was an additional $10,284, and so we would recommend amending the lien to include that amount as well. And this is a public hearing, and I haven't been sworn, but maybe if you don't mind, can I be sworn in?
Sure. Would you please honor?
Raise your right hand. Swear to tell the truth, nothing but the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Raise your hand.
So the prior things I said are all true. Because this is a quasi-judicial proceeding, so it's probably the best for that to be record. We're prepared to report the updated lien with the board's approval, and there's a resolution directing us to do so in the packet. If there's any questions, I'd be happy to answer.
You completely cleaned up now?
Yes.
Well, the property's cleaned up,
Well-
there's still a structure.
And I do have some pictures that we brought as well, just in the event you did want to see them. The abatement was for the public nuisances, the things that the public is seeing, making the property unattractive, just a nuisance to the public as a whole. The residence is treated separately, although since it's been posted and as unsafe and it is unattractive in and of itself, it has been boarded up because that's both part of the protocol for posting property unsafe to occupy, and also because it represents a public nuisance in and of itself, because, for example, children could go there and want to go inside of it and see what's inside, and so we have boarded that up, but it hasn't been removed because that is a separate authority if that's the direction the county chooses to go on this. The other option would be to wait till it changes hands and let the next property owner deal with it. Those are both viable options and will be considered for that. That's a separate process.
It seems to me like we'd just be tagging on as if we decided to take over there and take that. Because the original nuisance was probably jumped around the property. It wasn't very long.
I have a question. How come the contractor didn't fulfill his contract and clean it up? With it, now we have additional costs. It sounds like he went to a certain point and then stopped.
Well, the original contract, and Pete isn't here, but he's upstairs. Public Works administers the contracts, not our department, so it's a dual effort. But the contractor had a contract for a certain amount of labor to occur, and a certain amount of cost to be incurred. And so it was just difficult to know exactly what that was going to be.
There were more things on that part.
When you started actually getting in there and looking at it and started moving stuff, and it looked like a lot to begin with, but it looked like a lot more once we got going. And so I don't fault Norm Shepard was the contractor that did that. I don't fault him whatsoever. I think he did an admirable job. He's an admirable gentleman in my opinion, and he did the best he could under the dollar amount for the first contract. Actually, it was the same contract. There was an amendment to it, but you know, it just that was the amount of work that was there.
So the contract, correct me if I'm wrong, was not to completely abate the property. It was a time and materials contract.
Correct.
Okay.
And so,
When you ran out of time and materials, we had to amend.
That was it.
yeah,
That makes more sense.
we're not, staff is not of the perception that he did not fulfill the terms of his contract. Okay.
Correct.
He actually did more than the probably bargained for.
I think, in my opinion, that's the case.
And I agree, Maureen, with the planning and human services. The problem with this was you just didn't know what you're getting into because the problem was things were buried.
Yeah.
And so once you take one layer off, there'd be another one. And
Literally buried.
literally just went on and on and on. So yeah, we're personally really happy with what Norm did under these circumstances.
Thanks, Jim. Any questions of the staff report? Okay. Is there any questions of the public of the staff report? So, anybody that is here to speak in opposition of,
Chairman, if I may, you did open the public
Yeah.
hearing. Sorry, we were just all missing it today.
okay, anyone to speak in favor of proposed action? All right, so we'll bring it back. What's the pleasure of the board?
Make the motion to recording.
Record the lien.
Adopt the resolution, a new resolution provides the following direction.
So the total lien after this is added to will be $21,000.
Yes.
So whoever buys the property, that would be satisfied out of the first. Wow.
It's a pretty nice piece of property.
It is, and it may not be the portion that fronts the highway that's the most attractive. I think there's a pretty good portion on the backside that's,
We'll get our money back.
Probably that's one of the likely scenarios of for the delinquent on taxes, it's still on tax.
Okay, very good.
Do we have a second on that?
Did anyone
I'll second it.
Okay, so we'll, Madam Clerk, would you poll the vote? Well, no, we're going to close the public hearing,
Okay,
sir.
thank you.
23. We'll close it.
Oh.
Quit letting people talk.
especially the clerk.
I tell you what, he's seasoned to the point when he leaves, so he's finally at a point where he got it.
Supervisor Chapman?
Aye.
Supervisor Alba?
Aye.
Supervisor Kyle? Supervisor Hammond?
Aye.
Supervisor West?
Aye.
Thank you.
Alrighty, so we do have another item H2, but I think Maury hanging around all day anyhow to deal with his department. We could take it up now, we could recess for lunch. They don't want to hear from me now, Maury, sorry.
He'll get a better response after.
So we'll recess and we'll reconvene at 1:30.